Maker-Centric is a project funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council Connected Communities programme on the theme of community futures and utopias. We're looking at place, locality and people, this diversity and what its future holds. The group have worked together to co-produce a contemporary praxinoscope, which is a pre-film, pre-animation device, and this has enabled us to use a historical device in order to project the future onto it.
The theme was on utopia and dystopia, which can turn into very abstract discussions. So the methodology was mainly about allowing people to ground themselves in their bodies, to be able to drop images rather than words or utopian ideas. So it was really moving away from the headspace into the images, the dreams, the desires that people might have about what utopia and dystopia evokes as, words. That we were talking about utopia and dystopia in Birmingham, in Handsworth, and the Soho House Museum was central to that.
We're particularly focused on the past and thinking about how the past might inform the future. The group worked at Soho House and took their inspiration from Bolton's home, which is now a heritage museum. They took their inspiration to then develop designs and stories about what the future might be, both utopian and dystopian.
It's a privilege really to be somewhere where all these fantastically creative people like the Lunar Society have been, and when you're walking throughout the building you're very conscious that you're walking in their footsteps.
Attaching it to like actual historic place, so it's not, it's got roots. Ideally something to work towards. I don't think we actually reached that, but it's that like trying to get to an ideal. Under the utopia there's always dystopia.
So there are lots of objects in the house that are very interesting, lots of beautifully carved stairs, furniture, pictures of the moon, writing implements that we explored via a walk through the house.
The whole theme of utopia is so enormous when you start to sort of reflect on it. I mean, it makes you think about what you have, maybe where you've come from, whether you've achieved the goals that you had in mind sort of at the outset.
As well as line drawing and painting things in gouache paint, we're also exploring using metal, so copper, brass and aluminium, to realise some of our ideas in metal form. That's a really good link to the area, which is well known for its metalwork.
Yeah, my idea was the padlocks, open and locked padlocks. When you're going into utopia, that it opens up, so you're going past that door, you can say, into your utopia. The past is where you learned the lesson. The future is where you apply the lesson.
Mine was the trees, particularly the one that was falling. The leaves were all dropping off and the birds were dropping into the floor, and that was my part of it. It gets you talking to other people. One or two people I knew when I come here, but I've made new friends as well.
There's lots of railings that have been pulled apart, and it's probably been a crash, but it kind of, some of them you think, what are these railings actually keeping you out of anyway? I think art schools for all was my idea of utopia. Really this little artisan hut that Matthew Bolton had, because that's what I'd like, is just a little space to do my artwork, that I can have a beautiful garden around, but have people to go and talk to and interact with. It would be good to have something, start something going in an area that's quite dead, to start bringing it back to life. So that's my big.
It was a mini balloon which was designed by Matthew Bolton for his children, and I just thought the idea of these children with this hot air balloon which was going up in the air, and then I imagined how that could be used now to free people. Although the industry has been instrumental in being a force for good, in some ways it's also been detrimental. So there are two sides to it. So I think it's actually focusing on developing a more natural way of life and trying to communicate and join up communities.
We kind of were working towards a line that can be laser cut. So we were really interested in exploring laser cutting, which is a modern process.
I suppose it's inspiring in terms of working here and developing your own ideas. It kind of encourages you to do these things and to think about things that are completely off the wall.
It has been important in this project, and we've been exploring how making together can actually enable communities to reflect and to think and to talk and to connect with each other. And these are all important things in localities, in neighbourhoods, in communities, to enable people to work together to think about their futures.